Shazam tells the tale of Billy Batson and how he becomes a superhero known as Shazam. So the movie opens up with Thaddeus. They give you a short preview of him, and then it cuts into Billy Batson's story. Billy Batson's an orphan. He's trying to find his mama, and it's a pretty rough, hard scene that they throw you into. I really liked the group home that they put him in. I feel like this was pretty much the whole cream filling of the film. I feel like without this, the film really wouldn't have been as good as it was. His foster parents are absolutely amazing. They're super lovable the moment you meet them. And all the kids in the group home are as well, which gives you a really warm feeling about the film. I know this film was meant to be a comedy film, and it was very funny, but a lot of times comedic films have a way of just being comedic, and there's no sense of seriousness, and that's exactly what this film was. At no point in time did I really feel like there was going to be a super scary, like, climactic moment, and I was very annoyed with that, just because when I go to see a superhero movie, I want to have that good feeling of kind of like almost worrying in a bit, you know, and not really knowing what's gonna happen, what's gonna get them through. And with this, I didn't really feel like he went through a stage where everything wasn't gonna be okay. I felt like the film was very, very drawn like for kids. There was a moment where, you know, you're expected to see a lot of bloodshed and you weren't given that. And it was kind of like, huh? Like in a scene where you know there's gonna be blood, I didn't see one drop. And I thought that that was very weird, but then I just kind of went, oh God, it's going to be one of those films. And it was very hard to watch after that point. I do think that the way Zachary Levi had portrayed Shazam, or I should say Billy Batson as Shazam, was very, very funny. It was great. It made the film. However, I had an issue with the way that was, because for me, I felt like Shazam should have been totally different. I know why they did it, and it made more sense to do it. There was a lot of chances to kind of make this film very like a power struggle in a sense. As he's finding himself, he's using these powers. However, it just didn't make sense with who Shazam was supposed to be. I felt like in the beginning, the wizard kind of gave you a good idea of who this hero is supposed to be. And I just don't feel like we got that portrayal that much very well. Even towards the end of the film, I felt like the climax of it wasn't very climactic. I felt like it was a very simple fix, and it was a very big letdown. I also thought that the villain was extremely weak. Super, super weak. And geez, you know, he's the only one that seems to want to find out what those glimpses and things were. I find it a little hard to believe that he's the only one that's kind of still sitting there after having this experience and kind of just, you know, I gotta figure it out. I gotta know who this was. I gotta find them again, you know? Geez, sir, get a life. Like, and I don't know, it was maybe it was his portrayal. There was just something that I really didn't like about the villain. I just thought he was very weak. I didn't get a sense of danger from him, or just like a very, like, you know, like a scared kind of feeling. I don't know. He was just very, level C type boss, you know? I also thought that the 7 deadly sins could have been done so much better. They all just looked like gargoyles. There was no really representation of what sin they were. And that to me was boring. It was kind of like a missed opportunity. I also didn't like the way they were CGI'd in this film. I thought that the CGI was pretty lackluster. I've seen better in hero films, and this one was not good at all. At least for me. I don't know. I kept waiting to kind of see that moment where I felt like it blended very well. Maybe it's my glasses, maybe it's I don't know. But they just didn't look very cool or almost believable. They just looked like a bunch of rock figures with red eyes, and I was, you know, they could have did better. The action in this film is not anything memorable. There's a lot of times where they could have done some real cool things, and I feel like they held back, or they just went with a different route. With this being an opening film to a character, it's really hard, because part of you wants them to do something really cool, and then the other part of you is like, they probably just don't know how to use their powers yet. So you sit there just kind of fighting with yourself. One person wanting to see a cool action scene, and the other person trying to be understanding that this person's just finding themselves. And it was very different, because with Wonder Woman, she knew who she was, she found herself very quickly, and she was able to kind of utilize her powers a lot better than you see most of these heroes. But again, I feel like with Aquaman didn't really know much of his power until he got that trident, and it kind of seemed like he just had a nice fluidity into it. But for Shazam, I don't really feel like was the case. There was a lot of missed opportunities here where he has literally the powers of Zeus, but he's just doing little, little shots every now and then. Like, it just wasn't, it wasn't what I expected. I wanted a big spectacle. I wanted, maybe some more harnessing, just a lot of more ideas kind of being thrown into there, and seeing the level of kind of him owning who he is. And I just didn't see that with this film. The music in this film was very misplaced. It just didn't feel like it was very strong. The soundtrack for this film is not strong at all. It's tense sometimes where it needs to be, and other times you kind of get this mystic feeling when you see the wizard, but I don't really feel like it was something that's memorable. And once again, it kind of falls back onto I'm not really remembering what his theme was, and that also killed the film as well. The representation of the wizard, I liked the wizard, but I don't know. There was something weird about the way that he was portrayed that I really couldn't take him seriously. Maybe it was who was playing him. Maybe it was just the weird wig. The wig didn't even look believable for me. So I kind of had a hard time getting into it. Now, don't get me wrong. I felt sorry for him when I saw him getting thrown around, but there was just something weird about it. I don't know. But that was weird too. For me, the film was really, his family, his adopted family, really made the film. I feel like without that, this movie would have really been lacking a lot, and it would have been really hard to get through. It's very humorous, it's very comical, and it's definitely a film that kids would love. I'm going to go ahead and score Shazam. I'm going to give it a 3.5.
Shazam!
Thank you guys for watching this video. Let me know what you thought of Shazam, and I'll see you guys on the next review. Bye.